You as a journalist, you must have heard these groups. If you have been following this, the Fulani herdsmen have been calling for peace, and when you call them for peace, they come. They come with their guns because for many reasons, but they come for peace. Can you call IPOB for peace? Can you call Boko Haram? Boko Haram, I think the former president has called them for peace, and they came. But when it didn't materialize, now it's difficult to call them to peace. So anybody who inclined to peace, I'm with him. Anybody who inclines, I'm telling you, Nnamdi Kanu now, if he inclines to stop the agitation, the violent agitations and killing of people, and he says he's going to pursue whatever dream he has peacefully, I will be in the forefront trying to see that this man is released, because I should be given an amnesty for despite the offenses and atrocities he has committed.
I want you that celebrating what happened to our brothers. Nnamdi Kanu, the only good man in Igbo land, only good man that love you, a true love, is only Nnamdi Kanu. The only true man that love this country, that want everybody to be free. He want Hausa to be free. He want Yoruba to be free. He want Igbo to be free. Everybody go to your country and develop your own nation. If you want to kill your brother, then you can kill them. Don't come and use one Nigeria and killing other people. And one personal people, one particular people are eating your resources in the name of Nigeria. That is why they refuse for the separation of Nigeria. Because one families are benefiting one Nigeria, not all the Nigerians. So whatever they do to Nnamdi Kanu is a personal interest of one person that enjoying the resources of Nigeria. That is what happened. A man that rejected money, no Igbo man, as far as I know, can do that kind of thing. All the Igbo people we sent to represent us, all of them had took bribes. But this young man, Nnamdi Kanu, is an opportunity to take his own bribe and go back home like other people. And they asked him, which is, have you opened up? If anybody will come out and say what he said, he have opened up and tell you, they asked me to be a vice president. I say no. They asked me, do you need oil well? I say no. That is why a lot of Igbo people don't want to. Because they want him to submit it to bribe. And the young man said, bribe for what? I am talking about freedom of everybody. I can tell you that China is free today. Look at what they have been doing for their own children and celebrating their freedom with a lot of development and a lot of things they have achieved since they have separated from colonization or colonization. Tell me one good thing that government of Nigeria have done for this country. Do you have 24 hours right? Do you have a good road? Do you have a job? Do you have any security? Nothing. And nothing can be done. Nothing will happen. Nothing can change. The only thing that can change is to divide this country. And everybody will go to their own places. Hausa, go to your people. Yoruba, go to your people. Igbo people, go to your people. And they know if Nnamdi Kanu is released, fake election will not be happening here. Bad government will not continue here. Yes. So don't begin to celebrate evil that was done to you. Only man, the only good man that love you, outside Igbo Yoruba, is Nnamdi Kanu. They want everybody to enjoy their own resources. Your resources are enjoyed by one particular family that call themselves governor, call themselves senator, call themselves president. They are the one enjoying the money and the resources that belong to all Nigeria. People you vote in to represent you as a governor, as a senator, now want you to begin to praise them. Are you doing all the projects with your money as a president, as a governor? You are doing it with our resources. You did not work for it. Tell me one thing, since Nigeria have independence, tell me one thing that the government of Nigeria, every government tell me one thing that they have done for Nigeria. No 24 hours, right? No security, no good road, no job for all the citizens of Nigeria. Every citizen of Nigeria, every month, the government must pay you. It is your right. You see people that handed your resources to manage for you and now bugaing to you to be calling the president. It's impossible. These are businessmen and disappointed men. Don't ever dare to speak against Nnamdi. If you have already, if he decided to sell you, he will sell you very well and live him fine now. But what? Nobody in Igbo land have done it. Nobody in this country, both in Yoruba land, both in Hausa land, have done that. Nobody can try it. When anybody agitates, they will set money to you and you will surrender. And the Almighty God will still save him. The Almighty God will still save him. I remember in the time of Moses, the Lord fight for Moses. They have already concluded the destruction of Moses, but the heaven did not keep quiet. He said, the door I, the Lord, did not close. Nobody can close it. When I, God, will say yes, nobody can say no. The Lord is not yet. Stop talking. Only one can no chairs here. Obinigwe can no chairs here. And I'm pampa yaba. I am a warrior in the Nigeria. I'm a warrior in the Biafran land. I'm a warrior. If we die, we die. We have died many years ago. Look at how bandits are negotiating. Look at how weaker leaders are negotiating with people you must arrest and put them behind the bars. And you are negotiating with them where you see them killing Christians in broad daylight. I pray for you.
That we focus on, but somehow they all come together, right? I would like to gain your immediate reaction to the court's verdict in the first instance and his transfer to Sokoto prisons.
Yeah, I knew the transfer. I knew that was going to happen when the prosecutor kept, when he was reading his last law, he was saying, insisting. I knew they probably had a plan to do that, so they had to justify it somehow. He said, okay, that's not the problem. You see, didn't Nnamdi do anything wrong? Probably yes. Some of the alterations, you're seeing some of them online now. Some of those alterations were wrong. You don't tell people to kill anybody. I don't believe anybody should die. It doesn't matter how small or how big the person is. But what brings concern is the fact that justice is only applied to him. What about others that have committed similar crimes? I mean, if you must apply justice, then spread it around. I saw Dr. Gil Zocalo on TV speaking about it, and I remember he's supposed to be in jail himself. And he's out in TV station speaking. It's such a shame, So this is not balanced. Because he's in APC, he can be sentenced to prison and he's out the next day. And then someone else, he thinks it's justified for that person to be in Sokoto prison,
Okay, so let's now, jump right into reactions. I mean, you always find a way to chip in something that you remembered he was supposed to be in prison. Okay, so we've had reactions, and there's one reaction, or shall we say reactioner, or commenter, or tweeter, who has been quite vocal about issues surrounding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If he gets a hold of your tweet and you're supporting him, he would call you a terrorist apologist. And that is late Buhari's aide, Bashir Ahmad. And of course, in this particular tweet, he's seen criticizing Oti's remark on trying to make progress or headway in securing the release of Kanu. Now, this is what Bashir Ahmad said. So Governor Alex Oti of Abia State has said that plans are in motion to secure the release of the convicted IPOB terrorist leader, Nnamdi Kanu. With this kind of open political backing, one can now better understand how IPOB, of course, stroke ESN, managed to survive this long and continue unleashing terrorism in parts of Nigeria. Now, before that, we've also seen a tweet from this same individual saying, "I can't pretend or keep silent. I support the death penalty for blasphemy. That's my belief, and I do not and will never support." Of course, we're saying hashtag Save Kanu 9. So he has been a self-confessed Islamist extremist, right? And he goes ahead and continues to lambast people that supposedly are sympathizing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What's your take on his remarks concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's detention?
This man is consistent with his beliefs and personality. So why wouldn't he hate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? It's obvious. He's just echoing something we already know about him. You know, he's in line with the former president who didn't like Nnamdi Kanu. So he's just reading out his mind once again. For me, it's not news. It's echoing what we know lives in him. And you know, a man who lies about everything he does, when you stay in front of him and speak copious truth, he thinks you're also lying. I'm telling you how it works. If what I do normally is pretend, so if I see a decent person, I will believe they are also pretending like me. So he's just telling us that probably what they're doing with Boko Haram and Mieti Allah and all those things are all pretense, that they are behind those people. You understand what I mean? Behind the scene, they're supporting those people and coming to the front. Because that's what he's insinuating about Oti. Yeah, he said you understand how these things have lasted this long, which means there are people behind it that are not. So that's what they do with Boko Haram. Because when these men talk, they don't think. I don't know if they think every other person is blind or deaf or unintelligent. Unfortunately, we're not like they are people when they have loads of Almajiri people who have not gone to school. Down here, everybody's literally educated. So we understand their little pranks. You know, you cannot shut your eyes to militants coming to meet with government with guns and police and military uniform and camouflage. And you're talking about, you have no moral justification to talk about.
You want the police officers' uniform he killed.
Yes. So where is your moral justification to talk about it? A northerner who has kept quiet to what's happening in Kaduna State has the mouth to talk about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You know, that's my own. Like I said before, ordering execution or killing of any human being is wrong. Let alone allowing someone who killed human beings, who is extremist, to undergo what you call rehabilitation in 6 months, and what a job to give to him next is to put him in the military. That's why that general died. It's obvious. They've infiltrated the military. That's how unintelligent the past leadership of this country was. You know, to think that the best solution is to bring people who have told you that they're extremists. Because you were able to, they didn't submit themselves. They were captured. What do you expect them to do at that point? Anything to keep them alive. They agree with you. You know.
So, Matthew 7:5, remove the stick in your eyes first. I'm talking about Bashir because since we're talking about him, he's been making so many utterances from yesteryears, his tweets. You know, but you and I right here could say something. The next minute, DSS is going to be here to get us arrested. Why is Bashir out there still, you know, on the loose, making and inciting these things, and nobody is seeing anything? Does this bring the question we've been asking, that judgment, you know, when it comes to Nigeria is different when it comes to regions?
Is that not why Nnamdi Kanu is out there? That's why he's getting a lot of sympathizers as well. That justifies him being out there, because he thinks he speaks are 70% real and true. In fact, he speaks like a prophet sometimes. I don't know how he gets inspiration, if he has some spiritual powers, but sometimes he speaks into the future and it comes alive. It doesn't make any sense. When it comes to the Igbo man, let's be clear about it. When it comes to the Igbo man, the law starts playing out. Other places, the law goes down.
Right. So let's look at our lawyer, Jimako. Of course, we now know that he was once one of the lead counsels to Kanu, but he eventually got basically labeled a consultant. He was now referred to as a consultant.
The judge was actually making fun of the whole thing, right? You know, you're no more the attorney, right? You're no more you're now the consultant.
Yeah, so that happened, the transition happened. And, you know, now that you bring that up, that's a great point, because we did see some courtroom drama where the Justice Omotosho, said, you were the same person who was publicly, I was wondering whether I had slammed or slapped by your client, by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he told you not to speak when he's speaking, and you're here. Then he asked him to please sit down. let's be professional. You know, he said a lot of things which we somehow scattered around. I don't think we really talked about that drama. The judge of the Federal High Court basically saying that I saw you publicly being slapped and told not to talk when he's talking. And you are here. Please, let's be professional. Sit down and, you know. So that moment, many Nigerians say they felt embarrassed for the counsel at the time as why he would allow himself to be, if allegations are true, be slapped, if he truly was slapped, because we don't have video evidence of that, right? What's your immediate reaction to that scenario? You know, that what played out in court when the rep member, nnamdi Kanu's constituency rep member, and of course Aloy Ejimakor, was standing and they were being pointedly told to act professional in court.
No, sorry, what happened actually? He shushed him. He didn't slap him. He shushed. I can remember that incident. He shushed him, like, you know, he didn't slap him, please. So go ahead.
So many people are saying different things. Was it slammed or was it slapped? Which one?
There was a slap. I'm sure we all would have heard about it before now. And I know Nnamdi loses his temper, but I don't think I've seen him hit anybody yet. Okay, I know he loses his temper a lot. You know, he gets very emotional. Probably the level of drive he has in what he wants to achieve. 1, 2, the level of abuse he has gone through also can justify those behaviors we're seeing in court. Right. I mean, you keep a man for 5 years, 7 years, you know, without any clear sentencing. What do you expect him to feel? Any man of value who you suppress that much will come out a little bit damaged and, you know, disoriented when he acts. So you can justify those behaviors for him. I'm not saying it's right, but I mean, we can see where they're coming from. You know, about his lawyer, I mean, how he chooses. Aloy Ejimakor is not 2 years old, neither is he 10 or 15 or 20 or 50. He's a grown man. If he thinks the interaction between him and his client is not going well, he knows what to do. So I don't know how it becomes more of the judge's problem than the justice is supposed to administer. So I think he was also being disrespectful to Aloy Ejimakor himself. So you don't do that to your professional colleague because you're trying to justify a pre-written judgment. That's what I call that judgment. Because some of the things that were presented during the judgment were not taken as statement during the case. How do you bring up things that were not, nobody presented something as an evidence and you use it as basis to sentence somebody? I've not seen that before. You know, I don't know if you recognize what I'm talking about. A lot of things that were read during the judgment that nobody presented or was ever accepted as evidence during the trial. But now they were basis for sentencing him. So they have a preconceived idea of what they wanted to do with him or to him or who he was.
Why Sokoto prison? Aloy Ejimakor too is questioning why Sokoto prisons. I mean, that's the farthest flung location.
I know fully well that this individual might want to appeal, you know, to give him chance and room to assess their
they're trying to prosecutor, you know, when he was saying it, I knew the moment I was listening to what he was saying, I knew they had a plan. You know, he also tried to persuade the judge to the death sentence. I knew they were not going to sentence. They know how. I mean, first of all, this judgment came at a very wrong time. They were smart in any way. They should have taken to the delay that would have come with Nnamdi's behavior. They would have just adjourned. The country was already boiling with all the US and military and killings and the Islamists and fundamentalists that are killing people everywhere. It was the wrong time to sentence Nnamdi. But for some reason, they had written a script which they didn't check properly. They insisted in doing that at that time. So why they choose Sokoto, I don't know. Why they think Nnamdi being in Abuja is unsafe for him. That's what he was selling. I don't know how and why. Has anybody tried to kill Nnamdi in any of the prisons? No. Has Nnamdi tried to escape? No. So what justified that? The judge, why did he buy into that?
Mm-hmm. You know? I think that was the idea of protective custody, that the judge was as protective custody.
So are they saying the prisons in Kuje prison is not safe?
Some people say they don't want the Kuje prison to be turned to a shrine.
They've gotten a break, you know, one time, and so that's one of the things we were saying in the court, that he has put him there might be of, you know, high security concern. But there's something I want to ask you.
The prison that is within the capital territory is unsafe. It's the one that is sitting in Sokoto where what do I call them? Banks and everybody are having a free day. Are the ones that are safe?
I think the verdict is quite clear. They do not want Kanu having access to communicate as much as he was. Even banning him from using digital devices, except the NSA, the National Security Advisor, is present. He can't drop a tweet or do anything except NSA is present. So let's shift away from there to another reaction now. The Nnamdi Kanu's wife. Uchechi Kanu has publicly condemned what she describes as the unprofessional handling of her husband's transfer to a prison in Sokoto. Now, in an ex post, she said, and I quote, about 3 hours ago, her husband had arrived at Sokoto Correctional Facility, and she accused those closest to him, including some legal team members and visitors, of failing to inform her before broadcasting the news on social media. Right, so she found out on social media that her husband had been transferred to Sokoto prisons, and she's been quite vocal about this. She continues to ask the same question: where is the law that Nnamdi Kanu is being tried and detained by? She's obviously unhappy with the way all of this is going, and she should be. I mean, that's his wife. What's your take on her stand concerning what she has described as somewhat a secret transfer?
That woman has gone through a lot. You know, sometimes when I think about her, imagine if I were Nnamdi Kanu, what would have become of my wife? She's still sane. She's very composed. I'm very proud of her because what she's been through emotionally, you know, with her husband being held and moved everywhere, knowing that these people that are not even sincere, people who are holding the man, could poison him at any time because I don't trust them myself. You know, when you speak from both sides of your mouth, you don't know what to believe. You know, when people pray, you know, plan what they want to do and then they say they want to engage you, you can't trust that person. You know what I mean? So the engagements and their oratory is not sincere and straight. So I feel so bad about it. The lawyers should have informed her first the moment they have such information. This is not classified. This is not national security anymore. This is her husband. So I feel so bad about her, and then the kids who are not having their father around. I remember when the judge was passing the judgment, I said something about when he was allowing the House of Rep guy to speak. He said, he's our brother. I just thought to myself, oh, really? He's your brother? You just woke up, you realize he's your brother.
Yeah. I'll give it to him. He's been there. Like, he's always at the courtroom with Nnamdi.
No, I mean the judge.
Oh.
And what you said that Nnamdi is our brother.
Oh, he's our brother.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You know, no. Some people are like, when the devil also preaches the Bible, because you know
he quoted the Bible too.
Yeah. So when the devil wants to, do something really bad to you, he start quoting the Bible. Even when they were quoting and telling Jesus Christ to turn and stone into bread.
Yeah.
So there's a question I need to ask you. Everywhere went silent after the pronouncement, the life imprisonment of Nnamdi Kanu. Do you think that people down here feel defeated, or there's a real re-strategizing going on underwater?
You know, the people down here, as you say it, there's no unit called the people down here. There's no umbrella body covering the people down here. So people are thinking in their various brains.
And processing this.
Processing it.
Yeah.
You know, if you ask what IPOB is thinking, I can imagine there's a group called IPOB. I don't know how they function. I don't know how they plan. I don't know. I'm not a member of them. You know, but the average Easterner feels more detached from the center. The simple truth. I mean, you know, there's a saying, they say, what is good for Mr. A is also good for Mr. B. So if you treat the woman the way you treat the other one, she'll be fine with it. So, you know, it's unfair that other people who are agitating for different things are allowed to work. And because for once again, he's an Igbo man, he's going to jail. You know, so that is depressing for, including myself. I know a lot of friends call me from outside the country and say they're finally tired of this country as a unit. So there's no country. And this further buttresses why the average Easterner would have voted for a secession. If any such vote went, you know, this is the reason. So if you think you're trying to heal the nation, this is not how to heal it.
That takes us straight to the root cause, which many people are asking should have been addressed, taking us straight to Peter Obi's reaction to Mazi Kanu's conviction. Now, he has also stated that he's saying that he's reiterating his long-held stance that Kanu should never have been arrested in the first place. He argued that the arrest, detention, and eventual conviction reflect a failure of leadership and a refusal to genuinely engage the issues Kanu raised. According to him, the government should have prioritized dialogue, empathy, and inclusive governance instead of coercion. He stressed that Kanu's grievances were not impossible to resolve and that in functional societies, such concerns are addressed through conversation and reforms, not punitive force. Now, he further warned that the government's approach has only deepened mistrust and worsened national tension at a time of severe hardship. He called for political solutions, reconciliation, and meaningful engagement as the only path to lasting peace and unity. What's your take on Peter Obi's reaction to this? Should Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have ever been arrested in the first place? Were there grounds for his initial arrest?
Grounds or no grounds, it's a political issue. And we know, the whole country knows where it takes its basis from. So why don't you want to solve a problem, go to the causative factor and start fixing it. I agree with what Peter Obi said. You know what is causing the problem. The same thing we're discussing, where people are in Lagos, the Igbos in Lagos, their buildings are being destroyed, and you know, it's only Igbos that this happened to. And you are seeing the reaction over. Nnamdi is not the first person agitating for Biafra. There was an Ojukwu sometime. There was a Wazirike sometime. Today there's Nnamdi Kanu. There's still going to be someone else if these problems are not solved. You understand? It's an ideology. You can't kill it. There are people who might even be worse in their approach. You know, you can imagine what Simon was like. At some point, I did not accept the issues of killing police people, attacking the military. I was never in support of it. That's totally wrong. Okay? So we were complaining. I personally felt it was bad until when Simon Ekpa came on board and he was even killing fellow Igbo people. We talked about this several times.
This could actually be a blessing in disguise that Simon Ekpa is incarcerated at this point in time. Now the Kanu is being given.
Only God knows what would have happened.
God knows what could have happened if Simon Ekpa
was out.
Was out there,
roaming the streets.
It could have, turned out to be something we don't want to indulge in, right?
You're looking at the ripple effect, because I was talking about ripple effects this morning. Some people are saying things like Simon Ekpa is Nnamdi Kanu's prodigy, and that whatever Simon Ekpa did was as a result of the influence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Some of those people also believe that Mazi Kanu is a terrorist as convicted by the Federal High Court in Abuja. Is Mazi Kanu a terrorist, or is he a prisoner of conscience?
It's obviously not a terrorist. Whoever is saying that has a contaminated mind. Okay? There are a lot of people, if you read comments online, you see some people are already biased. Like what Shore said, he said when they were growing up, their parents used to bias them about Igbo people. You understand what I mean? The same thing happens everywhere in the country. They'll tell you the Igbo man will trick you, they're this, they're that. They have a preconceived idea. I remember when I was during my professional practice, there's an engineer I had that's from Kano State. So he was in Abia State. So sometimes there's a time Abba was becoming very tough. There was a lot of killings, and we had senses that there are information that there will be killing of foreigners in Abia. You understand? So something happened. I think they killed people in the north. They killed some Igbos in the north. And I transferred that guy out of Abia State to Ebonyi State. The guy was so mad. He even told his colleagues that he knows that I hate him because he's a Hausa guy. That's what he said. So he had a preconceived idea of what to expect of me as his Igbo boss. But about a week after, there was killing in Aba. And a lot of Northerners were killed. You understand? This guy came, he brought a cow to my house to say thank you. I sat him down and I spoke to him. I said, I knew where you were coming from. I knew what you were thinking. But if I had indulged you, you would have been dead by now. So it's good you are alive and confirming that I was trying to save you. So what point am I making? When you're standing by the truth or you're sincere with what you're doing, you don't need to look at the other man's reaction.
Right.
Time will bear witness to the truth at all times.
Argument is that he is innocent. Some videos too have been making the rounds about his final remarks before all of this happened. Now he does not believe he's guilty. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu believes he's innocent, but you started your address with that he may have. Do you think he's innocent of the crimes he's been accused of? Yeah,
what he was accused of is treason, isn't it?
Terrorism-related charges.
Now, like I said before, anything you choose to do it properly. If you read the judgment, they were saying he ordered for people to be killed and all that. Did anybody bring those or any documents to substantiate those claims during the trial? Was it taken in as evidence? The answer is no. Why use it as basis to sentence him? Why? So that means he has not been tried fairly. If you're going to try someone and you're saying you're following the law or constitution, follow things that are written down. This man asks a simple question: under which law am I being? It doesn't take anything. It's only ego that will make you not answer him. You're a judge. Even if the man is going crazy, okay, because of his incarceration, you're supposed to be more calm than him. You say, okay, you know what, Mr. Nnamdi, this is the law under which we are trying you. Do you understand what I mean? It was a simple answer. Okay. Why couldn't they answer it?
So let's look at this quick reaction, before we wrap up. This one is taken from Bianca Ojukwu. Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu is calling for calm and restraint now in her own statement concerning this, as shared on her verified social media pages. She described the outcome as unfortunate, but still urged Nigerians, especially Ndigbo, to avoid reactions that could escalate tensions at home or abroad. She emphasized that the moment requires reflection, unity, and constructive engagement, appealing to Igbo leaders, governors, lawmakers, clergy, traditional rulers, and business figures to come together and open dialogue with the federal government. Now, according to her, that dialogue is the only effective path toward resolving the crisis and ensuring justice, equity, and peaceful coexistence. So what's your take on Bianca's remark concerning this? As you know, people have been waiting for her remark. She shared a picture of herself, I think, in Zanzibar, and commenters went there straight, please speak to the issue of nnamdi Kanu, and she finally did, while responding to a commenter on that post and also subsequently as a fresh post online. How do you rate her reaction? Is it a timely reaction? Is it correct, politically correct or not?
I'm one of those people who don't believe in political correctness. But speaking to what she said, I personally also think His Excellency President Ahmed, Bola Tinubu is going to do something. Why do I think so? When he was called upon to do something, he said he will not interfere with the legal process.
Right.
So now the legal process is over. It is time to do something in the pursuit of healing and national unity and security. If he actually is a leader, it is time to show leadership.
Okay, well, since you're coming towards that line, right? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry jumped on this as a trend, right? We even saw Pascal, chief priest, who went berserk on his IG, calling out the president, right, and telling him that, hey, you're not going to get up to like 10,000 votes in the southeast because of this incarceration, the live imprisonment of nnamdi Kanu. After that, there are so many reactions online. Next then, he posted something else that he was being threatened, his life and all that, right? That Benjamin Kalu, the deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, sent him 2 messages and deleted them. Right, that he's scared and whatnot.
Who's scared? The president is scared?
No, chief priest said
the deputy speaker Ben Carlo messaged him and deleted
the message. She woke up and saw the deleted messages and all that. So like anything that happens or blah 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 and all that stuff, right? Well, so the people said another one, right, stating that they now had a conversation for over 40+ minutes. Benjamin Carlo and I think another name I saw there was a name titled Mandela. Right, that's okay that he had a conversation with the deputy speaker of House of Representatives, that he has addressed the issue, that now that he told him that yes, that there is conversations definitely going on for political solutions and and all that stuff, right then, and stated also that, hey, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, your 10,000 plus votes are intact for you in the southeast. Once you're going to go ahead with the conversation and bring a political solution regarding that, do you think? My question is, do you think that whatever strategy planned out right here at the end of the day, right, maybe to make President Bola Ahmed Tinubu the hero in all this, that when it comes to 2027, that these could secure votes, that he's, straight up millions of votes from the southeast is ensured?
Well, that's a low-hanging fruit for him, okay? And the fact that the price of rice, the price of gari, fufu are coming down, he should sync this with it and grab his votes. Because right now, PDP for me, is a dead party. The coalition has not taken form till now. There's still time, but they're losing time as well. So President Ahmed Tinubu, I know, is a strategist, but anybody sending a threat to him that you get, that's wrong. That's a wrong approach. That's always the problem with us from the East. We don't understand diplomacy. Okay, so Chief Priest was too quick to make those. It was totally off. People. I was depressed on that day when I read. When I listened to that judgment. In fact, at the point they said the death sentence, I didn't want to look at the screen to see him being sentenced to death. Because to break me down. So what I did was off the TV. It was later after they read it, I now went to listen to recast, and I saw that he was there. But I think President Tinubu is going to let him go. My thoughts. And I think it's the best thing he can do at this time.
All right. Thank you so much.